Hello. How to use LinkedIn to clone bookkeeping clients. So I like using exponential growth. I don't like linear growth is good in the beginning, but exponential is oftentimes easier. So one way you can go exponential is by earlier in this video we talked about you go through your existing friends and you look at their connections, see if they know anyone. But let's say that you're building your audience, you're getting 5 to 10 new strangers a day, and one of those people end up signing up with you, or they end up referring clients. The first thing that I like to do is I go to the person that just signed up with me, I go through their connections list, and I see if they have other business owners that either have the similar business, or just have a business that's the right size, and I start reaching out to those business owners, and I let them know basically, okay, so do we have mutual friends in common? Then I strike up a conversation about how I know this other person. From there, I can see if they have a need for my service, and we invite them to a call. So it's a 4-step process, but you can also do it with referral partners. So-and-so just referred me this construction company. I'm looking forward to getting started with them. Do you know any companies? Oh, yeah, I know a couple different companies, blah, blah. You schedule a call with that referral partner. Now you're able to get them in your network. So now you went from having 0 referral partners to 2 referral partners. And the cool thing about this, let's say if you're going the referral partner path, one referral partner, I've seen referral partners send as much as $11,000 a month to actually no, the highest referral partner we ever had in the like a mentorship program actually gave $400,000 worth of clients. And the reason why was because the person was he was doing like some like tax law. He was like an enrolled agent / like lawyer, and he was like, I'm just getting ready to retire. So he gave him all of his clients. That's $400,000 a year in recurring revenue. That the student actually changed that and not just have the $400,000 in tax revenue. Like it wasn't tax prep, it was tax planning, but they added bookkeeping on top of that. I think he added an extra like $200,000, so he was doing like $600,000. The $400,000 that came from referral partners. So you're not just getting referral partner gives you 1 client, then 2 clients. It's like referral partner gives you 3 clients, then 10, then 20. And if you stack that up, you have 3 referral partners like that, 4 referral partners like that, you can go hit your 6-figure goal relatively easy. But again, now there is a process. You need to know what to say to the referral partners. You need to even know like which referral partners can give you leads. That's not a given. You'd be so surprised. Like that is not a given that a referral partner or someone like actually wants to like give you leads. Don't take that for granted. Oh yeah, that was the thing I had to learn was like, because I would talk to people and they would say, oh yeah, I have a client. End of the day, yes, oh yeah, so who are you thinking about referring? Oh, I don't know, I have to look into it more closely. But once you kind of get the feel down, like I can always give you scripts on what to say on those calls. And if you're in a mentorship program, I can actually review those calls with you and say, hey, you know, this is how I would do this. This is where you messed up the call. You did this good. This is how you can get them to give you more. This is how you can call them out. They start like getting weird on you. And just make sure you know exactly what you need to do. But that is how you start a bookkeeping business. And can I open a bookkeeping business in 2025? So this is a really important question because I know a lot of people, as we're entering the last quarter of the year, a lot of people are looking to start their own bookkeeping business, but maybe there's a little bit of trepidation. Am I ready? Do I have enough experience? Am I good enough at marketing? Can I actually get people to sign up with me? There's a billion questions that you could be asking, and you might be asking that could be holding you back from getting started. So I want to kind of answer some of those questions in today's video. The first thing that I want to talk about, so how I personally gained experience as a bookkeeper. Now, this is important because I was not a person that had 50,000 years of experience in QuickBooks and bookkeeping online, right? I did graduate with an accounting degree, yes, and I did have a couple years of work experience inside the accounting space, but as most people that work in accounting understand, you oftentimes don't get a lot of experience within QuickBooks itself, so it can be a little bit daunting. And I know some people have never even learned bookkeeping or accounting before, and they're like looking like, how do I actually get started? How can I actually get things moving? So number one, I started doing my own bookkeeping first and foremost. So do you actually look through your own bank statements? Do you ever just practice like putting all of your different things in different buckets, right? Do you track your meals? Do you track your car expense? Do you track your regular bills? Do you track if you have like business expenses or personal expenses? Are you tracking your vacation? Are you tracking your, like, if you're not really doing bookkeeping or accounting for yourself, you've never done your own budget, I would first start there, right? That's first things first. And then you can start moving on to bigger and better things. Now, one thing that's really cool about QuickBooks Online is they have what's called sample companies. So inside there's like a company file basically set up with different things you can go in and reconcile and categorize, right? So that's good practice, but you can only do that so many times. So nowadays, What I recommend for students in our mentorship program to do if they're trying to learn, one thing we do is we say, okay, cool, so let's have ChatGPT go make up some bank statements. They can basically go make up like a sample bank statement. Then you go put it inside of your QuickBooks Online, you upload it into it, and then you start actually doing it as if it was like real books. Now that's actually pretty cool, and it's very helpful as well, because you can just basically you do it, and then you delete everything, then you do it, you delete everything, and you can just keep doing that as many times as you want. The challenge though is that how much prep is too much prep, okay? The goal is not to spend 6 months to a year on the back end of the desert doing sample companies and, you know, what if this happens, or watching a million videos like on YouTube on like how to do bookkeeping. It's how do I get on the job training, as much as on the job training as I possibly can, as soon as possible. If you do that, everything gets exponentially easier. Sorry, I feel like it was too far back. One thing to note, I was talking to a guy yesterday in my school group, and he was saying like, I just want to make sure I can do everything exactly as it needs to be, so I don't mess up my clients' books, and no one has to go. They don't have to hire someone else to basically fix what I did wrong. I was like, okay, so take a step back. So if you're a bookkeeper, most likely the client's CPA or whoever's doing their taxes are going to come behind at the end of the year. They might do some different tax magic in addition to what you already did. So someone, regardless if you do it perfectly or not, is going to go and make some tweaks, make some changes, and is going to overview it. So it's not like you have to be like freaked out that someone's going to look at it and they're going to say you did everything wrong. It's not like that, but somebody will come behind you. Now, the cool thing about this is when you're first getting started, in most cases, if you're just starting this business, you have no prior experience, the clients that you're going to get are proportional to your current level of skill. Now, what that means is, okay, so if you have no skill, you're probably not going to be able to talk to a $5 million per year company, get them to pay you $5,000-$6,000 a month. Like, you just won't be able to speak on the right language patterns or wavelength text to get that, right? Now, in our mentorship program, students are able to get that as their first client because we teach you how to speak the language, how to increase your skills, and we give you different sales scripts so you can actually talk on that same level as someone that, you know, is really experienced. So you can get a client that's much larger than your current, we'll say, competency should allow for. But if you're starting this stuff on your own, which I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you're doing everything on your own, then the client you get is going to be very proportional to the skill you have. So you'll probably be getting like maybe a company that's doing like $150,000 to maybe $500,000 a year. You'll probably charge them between $150 to $500. Let's say on average, you'll charge between $300 to $500. Okay, so for a $300 client, that should take a competent bookkeeper between 2 hours to maybe 4 hours to do. If you charge $500, it should probably take you 4 to maybe 6 hours to do if you're competent at bookkeeping. If you're not competent, I'm just going to assume it's going to take you 2 times as long, right? So that means on the low end, it could take you, 4 hours to do that, or it could take you 10 hours, right? But the cool thing about that is the stakes are very low and there's not a lot of pressure on you, because here's a cool thing. Usually, since the clients are not really large enough, a few bookkeeping errors is not large enough to sink their ship. So for example, you're probably going to work on some kind of service-based business where they have adequate profit margins. Maybe at the end of the day, they're doing like anywhere between 15 to 30% margins. And you doing the books, they're not going to be utilizing the stuff you do to make business decisions, right? Oftentimes they're already running a business maybe for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and now they just want to clean some stuff up and do things correctly. But it's not like they necessarily need you to run the business. If they never had a bookkeeper, they just stay at that same exact level, they could probably run it without a bookkeeper. Maybe their tax accountant just comes to the end of the year, does like a cleanup project or whatever, right? So it's not going to be as like important. There's not as much pressure on you. As the company gets larger, let's say they're actually using the stuff, the deliverable, the work deliverable that you're producing. If they're using it to grow their business, there's a little bit more stakes. That's what I'm saying. In the beginning, you're not going to be there. You're probably not going to be working with a $5 million e-commerce company that needs you to run an accurate inventory report and tell them how fast does inventory land inside of their warehouse to when does it go out. You're not going to be doing a report that says, okay, so how much inventory should I order of each different type of product? And what's the season of each product? Look, you're not going to be doing stuff like that to that level of degree when you're first starting. So you don't have to worry about that. You can build up to that, but that's not going to be your first client when you're starting. Now, remember, since it's only going to take you a couple hours, this is stuff that you can research and you can take slow. It might take a little more time, and that's okay. right? But start small and then grow bigger. And here's a cool thing. You might start getting your first client and you're gonna see it's doable. The key thing is, like, the problem that most people have is that when they are starting their business and they've never looked at real books, they build up in their heads this giant monster. But once you see like a $300 per month client is very simple, it's okay, maybe I can do more of this. So then you get your second client, then you get your third client, then you get your fourth client, then your fifth client, and then maybe you start charging a little bit more money and you start going after bigger clients. Pretty soon you have 20 clients, you're making over 6 figures a year in your business. And you're making over 6 figures a year in your business if you have the right marketing stuff, right? So we can start sliding into marketing next. Now, one thing that's cool about this is that in our mentorship program, we actually have hours and hours of footage of us doing the books, both at different price points. Like we have like clients that are maybe $300 a month. We have clients that are $5,000 a month. We have a $50,000 cleanup that you can actually watch as we're going through it to get an understanding of what does it actually take to do the books, and you can start learning as we're doing it. So it gives you that on-the-job training much faster. And that we just found that just gives people so much confidence. One thing is to actually see it, and they can actually do it. And then we also have different resources in there to teach you bookkeeping while you're actually working on your existing clients, right? We'll actually hop on a call with you and we'll basically do the bookkeeping with you as you're doing it. So, hey, make sure you do this will make it actually a lot faster. Here's how you do a cleanup much faster. It's just so efficient, right? And that's how we improve your competency as a bookkeeper and as an accountant, because we just have so much experience doing this stuff for our own business. So next thing, so how do you start properly advertising your bookkeeping business? So let's say that now you've bridged the credibility gap or you're ready to start getting your first client. So number one, okay, you want to exhaust your warm network first. Let me grab some water. Yeah, oftentimes people that know you trust you the most, right? And a lot of times with accounting and bookkeeping, it's a mixture of trust if you're going to strangers. But trust really comes down to relationship and just wanting to see someone succeed. So if you already know someone, they oftentimes want you to succeed, so you can go to them first and sign them up as clients. And they're not going to be as critical, they're not going to hold you to as high of a standard, and they're going to give you a little bit more grace when you're doing this stuff. So that's why I like going after the warm network first. Now, within the warm network, instead of just going after clients, because maybe you don't know anyone that owns a business, but you might know someone that knows other business owners. So what how I got my first large client, it came from an old colleague that I worked with. I just reached out and said, hey, start this bookkeeping business. Let me know if you know anyone that's needing bookkeeping. It said, this company, it was a manufacturing company. They're doing about $10 million a year. They had just, I can't remember if they had let go of their controller. Something happened to their controller. So they wanted a controller. So basically, we set up the meeting. It took 2 meetings to kind of get this person to go. Because the first one, we were showing off our credibility. Second meeting was more about, can we do this thing remotely? And this is the rates that we're charging as a contractor rather than just as a W-2. And that, I wouldn't recommend that strategy for most people trying to take a regular job and turn it into W-2, because it can be a little bit challenging. You do need some sales skills to do. It is possible, don't get me wrong, but it's just, I would go after companies that are looking for a contractor first, because they're generally going to be a little bit smaller, right? They're generally going to be a little bit smaller, more entry level. But it came from the warm audience. So what you can do is start looking around. Let's say you have a LinkedIn profile. Let's say that you've collected 150 people from your entire life. You can go through each one of their profiles and you can start seeing, hey, do they know a business owner? Do they know a business owner? Do they know a business owner? And then what you can do is you can either call them or text and say, hey, can you introduce me to Bob? Can you introduce me to Susie? Can you introduce me to this person? Maybe they need a bookkeeper, maybe they need an accountant, and they'll do that for you because they already like you and they want you to succeed. Actually, a really good example is our student Susan. So in the mentorship program, when she was first getting started, we did this activity where we looked through all of her old existing friends and just family, and there was someone that she actually went on a date with, I think 3 years prior, and nothing really came out of the date. They talked, and it wasn't on bad terms. So she reached back out to the guy because his LinkedIn profile said he owned 3 businesses. So, long story short, I think it took a week of going and talking through. The guy ended up paying her $3,600 a month, so about $1,200 a month each for each business. And it just came from just understanding how to go and navigate that warm network and getting clients, right? So that's, what is that? That's close to $40,000 a year off of one person in the first 2 weeks of us working together, because we understand how to tap into that warm network. Now, where to find bookkeeping clients. Like maybe you don't have a warm audience. Now, for me, I got lucky because I didn't have a lot of friends when I got started because my work history wasn't that large. I wasn't 40, 50 years inside of different accounting jobs or different accounting firms, right? So I didn't have that many people, right? So I used what I had and I got some clients from it. But let's say you either have used up your warm network or you don't have a warm network. How would I go about this? So I would be starting to think in terms of active and passive. Active is a way that you go and get clients that involves energy. It involves either you spending your time or use it your time. I don't really recommend spending money in advertisements if you're starting your business in the beginning. Most people just don't have the right skill set, the patience, or the understanding of what it actually takes to get clients from ads. It's not the easiest thing in the world. So I would start with free methodologies. So that could be like social media. Now, on social media, there's a bunch of different ways you can use it. You can either post, you can message people, you can friend request people, you can go on different comments. The easiest way for this is, okay, so first you understand, okay, this is your active method, and then we'll talk about LinkedIn in a second, actually. The second thing is your passive way to get clients. So when I say passive, I like building referral partnerships so that as of maybe you're working a full-time job, you're able to go and get clients still being sent to you without always being able to market. So you want to have the active one for control, the passive one for growth and for scale, just short-term scale to get to your first 10, 12K a month. Now, next thing. Oh, also one thing too. So why am I saying one active, one passive? Why would we not just get a bunch of passive ways to get clients? Because your active methodology, once you understand the key performance indicators or KPIs, you can actually make the active methodology passive. So I'll give you an example. One of our students in our mentorship program named Audrey, she was working on LinkedIn very manually for the first 2 weeks. But once she got the hang of it and she got her first clients, okay, cool. Let's reinvest in some tools. These tools can be anywhere from $20 a month to $100 a month, but they can basically automate LinkedIn for you so you don't have to be spending your time doing that. And for her, she'll get anywhere between 1 to 3 sales calls every single week from her LinkedIn stuff when she turns it on, right? Now, for her, again, it's you have to have a structure behind it, but again, the active can turn passive. That's my goal for you. So eventually you'll have active, turn to passive. Okay, so now you have 2 passive. Then you do another active one, then you turn to passive. Now you have 3, right? And over time, you keep doing that until you have all these different streams of income and clients that kind of move. Now, for LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn is all about learning how to build an audience of business owners, and it's really about controlling your growth, right? It's a form of active in the beginning, can turn passive. But how I would recommend doing it is, I was just telling one of my friends yesterday, we are in this age of business that you can do a lot more now than what you could 5, 10 years ago. And it's more about speed. So I was making this video training, and I asked ChatGPT to make a script and to do some different things. That thing made this 43 long minute script, and it took it probably 3 minutes to do so. 3 minutes. That script, because the way it was very structured, historically, that would probably take me a month to make that kind of script and to make that kind of training material and all the graphics. 3 minutes. So 30 days versus 3 minutes. What is that? That's 1,000 times fast. Literally, it's about 1,000 because 100 times would be 300 or 0.3. Yeah, so 100 times would be 0.3 of a day. So a third of a day. This thing took 3 minutes. So it's literally 1,000 times faster. Wow. And it can do the same thing with content. You don't have to make your own content anymore. You can literally just ask ChatGPT, make a 30 days worth of content for my bookkeeping business. And then just slap a picture of yourself or some kind of random graphic, and you can throw it up. That's 30 days worth of posts right there. You don't have to think. You don't have to think anymore to just post content. It's ridiculous. I used to tell people, you don't need content. But at this stage of the game, it's so easy to make it. You might as well just have it up there, right? It's ridiculous. Now, in addition to the content, now here's where people go wrong. The content is not necessarily the thing that's going to get the clients, okay? That's the misconception. When you have a small audience, maybe 100 people, 200, 300 people watching, the content is not going to be really getting the clients. The content is just making it so that people know and trust you more. So if you ever reach out to them or they have a need, they come to you first. So in addition to the content, you need to be thinking about how do I go and grow my audience by between 5 to 10 new business owners every single day. Now, here's a catch. If you can grow the audience by 5 to 10 new people over the course of 350 days, that's a year minus, we'll say, 15 days for just random stuff or blah, 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 right? You will have 2,000 connections on your LinkedIn profile by the end of the 350 days. Now, to put that in perspective, I was saying like 2,000 is a lot, or some people might say 2,000 connections is a lot. Some people might say like 2,000, like they don't have any context into what 2,000 actually can be. Now, I have seen contacts on social media be worth as much as like $200, right? So it's like every follower on LinkedIn can be worth $200 for you. So what is that? What's that math? 2,000. Let's say 100, just for good measure. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 2. That can be worth $200,000 for you. $200,000. So just to put that in perspective, for 5 to 10 people every day that are now knowing you exist, you can make $200,000 from that initial audience. It's like you have no reason not to do it. It's free. It's social media. Now, you have to make sure you have the right followers. If you just have a bunch of people that own a business, you have 1 million of those, okay, it's not going to matter how many followers you have. But if you're talking about true business owners that have a good-sized business, or at least have a good industry that they're in that makes it more likely to get clients or makes it easier to get higher revenue, you're going to make more money. There are different ways on LinkedIn you can check to see how much revenue someone is making. Usually you can go see it on their company page. Like it'll tell you like revenue, it'll tell you employees, it'll tell you approximately like how big the company is going. So then, like for me, we're only focused on companies that are doing at least above $500,000 per year. If they're just getting started, I don't like talking to them. They generally don't have the budget, in at least most cases, to pay us the price points we're looking for. Now, one thing that's cool about LinkedIn is that you're in control. So since I can grow and I can say, okay, I want 5 to 10 people a day, I am the one moving my business forward. I no longer have to be waiting for to refer people to me or word of mouth. You don't have to wait anymore. Imagine having full control and knowing exactly where your client is. That's the power of LinkedIn. Like even Facebook to a certain degree, but I personally like LinkedIn a little bit more. It's easier to use more of the style I like using it. Now, so if you ever follow our YouTube channel, right? Every Thursday we release a video about the new result that a student has gotten this week. And oftentimes, you might have been seeing recently, a lot of our students are getting cleanups for $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. It's not a coincidence. It's usually from LinkedIn because we can tell approximately how much money a company's doing, so we know who's actually worth it, and then we're just going after companies that have a higher propensity to need a cleanup project. So we're going to better clients. We know who needs a cleanup, and then we're able to put our scripts and our pricing together to start getting those higher cleanups. So if you don't know how to charge someone $20,000, you don't know what to say to get them to say yes, and you don't even know how to price the services, that's something we can help you with inside the mentorship program. But that's just one thing that we do. But yeah, it's just really making sure that you're able to grow the audience correctly, and you know exactly where those stuff is coming from. But yeah, there are really large size companies that you can get on social media if you know what you're doing. Okay? Talk to you soon. Have a good one.